All right. Well, thank you,
Okay.
everybody. Oh, sorry, Steph. Didn't
No,
mean to
I was
step
just
on
going to
you.
say, Robin Davis, to talk about Joy International. Now you've got the floor.
Thank you. All right. Um, my name is Robin Davis. I'm on the board of directors for Joy International. I'm also organizing their fundraiser this year for the Bailey area, which is the Freedom Walk. We're going to be having a silent auction event as well that normally would be at the same time as the Freedom Walk, but we're going to do it using more of a wireless technology. There's not real good technology up at the football field. So we're not going to try to squeeze that, shoehorn that kind of thing into something that won't work. So Joy International was founded in 1981. So if you want to talk about sustainability and long-term being around. It's not a fly by night organization for sure. It was founded by Jeff Brodsky, and the focus has always been on helping children. Um, he he moved the focus from just helping children in general to fighting trafficking after he saw a show on 60 Minutes, I think it was, about the trafficking in Cambodia and how it was a tourist destination for pedophiles. So um, that was something he just couldn't sleep after that, and he's probably hasn't slept much since then. Um, so Joy International has we do. Let me historically that's where we came from. Right now we have a small staff. There is the executive director, uh, Gina Moran, and one person who handles all the events, and that's Tanya Sweater. One person that handles networking for safe homes and other type facilities that trafficking victims would need, and that's Alyssa. Oh, she just got married not too long ago, and I don't remember her married name. Forgive me. And then we just brought in a part-time person to help with administrative stuff at the office. So it's a very small organization. Excuse me. So our the number of children we've helped rescue from trafficking since 1981 is about 3,000 children with a very small group. Um, so we call ourselves mighty, tiny but mighty. Um, our our areas that we focus on are things like prevention. Prevention takes the form of a school we're funding in Uganda for young women. Normally, what happens in Uganda is the parents can't afford to send the child, the girl, to school. So she ends up being um, sold as a child bride. And that is a form of trafficking. Usually, what happens is by the time she gets pregnant, the man leaves and she's stuck there with an infant and no way to support herself. So that just goes downhill in a big hurry. So we have a school there, and we are um, helping the girls with their education, a place to live, and we just had two girls that are graduating and going to college. One is going to be a midwife, and the other one is going to be a doctor. And Jeff Brodsky's actually paying for the young woman, paying for her college expenses personally out of his own pocket. The one who's going to be a doctor. So it's um, it's kind of gratifying to see these young girls who had no future to look at all moving ahead with a future because of the work we've done there. The other thing we do for prevention is teaching our local kids about sextortion. I don't know if everyone knows what sextortion is. There's been a lot more press about it lately. But just to give you the cliff notes on it. A predator will contact a child through a chat room or through some sort of online uh, gaming room, something like this. They portray themselves as being a hot member of the opposite sex. Just it doesn't matter. They're not particular. They they as long as they can get a kid sucked in, and then they will send nudies or compromising pictures of themselves, supposedly themselves. It's really not. And then say, well, would you send me something of you? I'd really like to see your sex pic. And um, and then once they get the picture, that's it. They've got the kid. Then they start blackmailing them and extorting them to steal from their parents, to steal from anybody they can. And they're threatening them. They will put this picture on social media, everybody on their contact list. They threaten them with all kinds of stuff. So the kids, if they don't understand what's going on, they're afraid to talk to their parents because by then they probably ripped off a credit card or whatever money they can, given this person the bank account number from their parents, whatever they can get their hands on. Um, and they feel completely isolated because it's not something you would, duh, hey, look at this stupid thing I did, talk to your friends about. When Jeff gave he just gave four different talks at Conifer High School, and he said that probably at over half the kids they'd already been targeted. I know. I was talking to Deb about this yesterday, and she said because if the teachers know, the parents know, the kids know, then these people have no way to get their foot in the door and destroy these children's lives. So that's one of the things we do is prevention. One thing that did happen with a young girl, Jeff gave a talk at at a like a civic organization, and after his talk, he had a woman come up and she said, "Can you help me find my great niece? She's been gone for a couple of months. We think she's been trafficked." And because of the networking we do, the stuff that we network with people who actually do rescues, they do research, safe houses. We vet all these people because we were a source for if somebody needs help with something. So Jeff told this woman, I can't make you any promises, but I will try. And he asked her to have the parent contact him, and he gave them a list of information he needed. And he worked with a group out of Pittsburgh that has some great they go into the dark web. They're great hackers. They really have some skills and they're using them for good. And we found the child within 2 weeks. They contacted the FBI and said, here she is. She's right here. Go now. And the perp is with her. So they managed to rescue this young girl. She's about 16 and get the perp at the same time. So that's kind of these things, they blow my mind. They just blow my mind, things that happen. The other thing we do is we rescue kids. We have a safe house in Nepal, in Kathmandu. It's called the Mukti House, which means freedom in Nepalese. And when we first adopted it, we had to adopt it because the organization that was funding it before had some sort of issues. They had to drop them, and they were going to have to turn all these girls out into the street again. Um, when Jeff heard that, it was like, no, we're not letting that happen. There were 26 girls that we adopted in the beginning, and we sent over a group. We paid for a group to go over and train their security team. And within 2 weeks, they rescued four more girls. So the group we sent over, they teach you how to kick in the door and rescue, how to do it right. So now we have 30 girls. Mukti House is recognized by Nepal as one of the top safe houses in the country, and they're using it as a template for what to do to help the girls. We everybody in there just passed their all of their school. They all moved to the next level of schooling. We actually have a couple of the girls there that have been uh, rehab sounds so cold, but we've worked with them and now they are able to go to a regular school. It's safe enough for them to do that. And that's bringing normalcy back to their lives. So it really is it's a great thing. The safe house is. Like I said, we network, we identify safe houses, we identify rescue teams that are ethical and they are doing the right thing. I mean, you would think there would be lots and lots of safe houses in the world, but the US right now, as far as I know, we have maybe 400 beds, not 400 facilities, 400 beds. And there are close to 400, well, it's over 400,000 trafficked children here in the US. So it's a huge problem and it's kind of hard kind of hard to confront. And I get it's overwhelming. Um, we also have started an organization or like it's a group, sort of like Mountain Women in Business, but it's called the Freedom Collective. And we meet um, twice a month on Zoom and we talk to the anti-trafficking leaders and provide them with any kind of support we can, best practices, that sort of thing. Anything we can do to help them. Right now, we have 5 anti-trafficking leaders in 4 countries, um, and we're building that. Um, we also fund rescue operations. Sometimes we'll get contacted by an organization that doesn't have enough money to go out and rescue the kids or to get the training to rescue kids. And we raise the money to help them actually get the training and go out, kick in the doors. One of the things we insist on is if you do save a child, do your very best to get the perpetrators arrested. So somebody goes to jail and somebody gets rescued. It's like a win-win. So I know that when we talk to people about what Joy International does, it's there is such a huge industry for trafficking children, trafficking people in general. And it's easy to be overwhelmed and feel like, how can we do enough? How can we help all these people? And the way that we have to look at it is, how can we help the next one? How can we help the next person? And Jeff tells a story about a kid who is on the beach and there are hundreds of starfish washed up on the beach. And he's picking them up and throwing them back in the surf. And a man comes up and says to him, "What are you doing? What a waste of time. You're never going to save all these starfish. They're going to die." And the kid picked up one and says, "I can save this one," throws it back in the ocean. And that's our perspective on it. We help those who we can. So we're doing a fundraiser this year, and I know you guys have heard about it, I think. It's we're doing a walk. Um, and Deb has got a team. So if you want to join Deb's team, she'd be way happy. If you want to donate items for the silent auction, we have like a website. You can just key it in and it'll be pretty easy. And then we'll coordinate with you and get whatever it is that we can use to raise money at the silent auction. So does
Can you
anyone?
tell us what the website
Yeah.
is, Robin, or what the link is for that,
Yeah.
for the silent auction, please?
Why, yes, I can.
And I believe our website has all of Joy information, Joy International's information on it about the
Okay.
event, right? I
Oh,
believe.
okay.
Yeah.
But if you want to put it out now, just because this is
How about
being
if I put
recorded,
it in the chat?
well, let's just say it out loud, just so
Okay.
Okay.
people, because
I,
we're being recorded, and yeah,
oh,
so
yes,
And then
perfect,
I'll
perfect.
post it also.
Okay. It's
Thank you.
HTTPS colon // joymailer, MAILER.org /. And all that does is pull up a form for you to fill in. And we can use that
Okay.
to create the item on our online silent auction. Does anyone have any other questions?
So it's going to be online. Okay.
Mhm.
Robin, when is this walk?
The walk
What's
is
the date?
July 13th. It's going to be at I'm sorry, Platte Canyon High School, on their old football field.
At 9 a.m.?
Yep, 9 a.m. we start gathering, 10 we walk. We should be done
Great.
by noon. So it's a pretty quick thing.
It's going to be great. I'm already signed up. So,
Cool.
And
Robin,
the
I-
silent auction is something that's going to take place online. Is that right?
Yes, we're going to have the auction open for 1 or 2 weeks prior to the event for the auction. At the event, it'll be, everything will be displayed on tables and people can still bid on them. And we're not going to cut off the online part. So we can have people bidding outside of the event who can't make it to the event, and then people bidding at the event. It's just sort of to have a little celebration
Great.
at the end.
Great. I'm sure a lot of our members will be able to donate some things. So I'll post this information when we're done.
Thanks, Rachel.
Robin, I have a question. I've worked
Mhm.
with Deb Evans for many years back doing this technology education for kids. We've always had an internet safety module, but they need to continually be updated. I'm wondering if you guys have a current education recording for teens or kids just
Jeff,
to help with
yeah,
that prevention.
Jeff did not record those talks, and he has his reasons. I don't know, but he does have a whole document about this. He's been working with Opal Singleton, who
Okay.
wrote a book on this. And like you said, it has to be constantly updated because there's always something new.
Yeah, and I've had several requests recently for some internet safety um, training for kids and for their adults for how to help with this. And I'd like to help get a new module put together and put online. So that's something I'm really keen in developing and doing.
Okay. Let me I'll try to get you hooked up with Jeff because he's writing another chapter for his book.
Okay, because I
Um,
think that's so critical to get that education out there every time, because they're going to continually be on technology, and that's how I start my classes is how to be on technology, but how to be safe.
okay. Online safety. Okay. Thank you.
anyone else?
I'm wondering if you're going to have vendor booths at that walk as well.
The vendor booths, the way they've got it set up is if you donate X amount of money as a corporate sponsor, we will give you a vendor booth or a space for a vendor booth. Um,
Oh,
Somewhere in this pile of stuff in my office, I've got the actual thing. Um, I'm I think that might be on your website already. But I will make sure that it gets there if it's not.
Okay, thank you.
I just put my email in the chat, Robin, if you need to send me anything.
Okay, Rachel, thanks.
Whoops, you're
Anyth-
muted, Steph.
Yeah,
Great.
I think that everybody should go to the Mountain Women in Business website. All of the Joy International links should be there. If not, there's certainly a link. Robin, if you would like to put your contact information in the chat for anybody who's interested, has a bunch of follow-up questions, then I'm sure Robin can answer all of that. Um, so yeah, I feel like everybody can find the info on the website. If not, Robin's contact info will be there. So, okay, anybody else have
Thank
any
you so
questions?
much. It's, whoops, sorry. I was just going to say it's also important, you know, especially kids because they're so critical. But I mean, I've noticed too. In fact, this morning I was emailing another friend of mine. I was widowed 6 years ago, and you wouldn't believe how many requests I get. My Facebook page has to be public because my business Facebook page is public. And I get scammers constantly that are the same overseas trying to scam widows or romance scam or whatever. I could write a pamphlet too on what to look for right away, the red flags after 6 years. And it's disgusting what they do. I don't know if you've heard of Mariana Van Zant, but she's done some excellent shows that you can actually upload and watch from YouTube about romance scams, financial scams for the elderly, all of these things. And they're sad but fascinating to get the information so people know what to look for. But it just makes me so sad anytime kids are committing suicide because they're being blackmailed or bullied or whatever. That just makes me sicker than anything. So I'm so glad you guys are getting out to the schools.
Yes, lots of, I mean, education, that's the biggest tool we could have, right? And I would like to say overseeing your children, but that's not always the case. You can do all of the right things of overseeing your children, and these people can still get through.
Yeah,
So,
children are
Yeah.
pretty ingenious.
right.
Yeah.
So smart on some things and so not on others. But,
Yes.
so. Okay, does anybody have any other things for Robin?
I did share in the chat for everyone. There's an internet safety and warning signs of online grooming training tomorrow. It's free. It's through the National Training Institute, National Center for Victims of Crime. It's their countdown to a conference. I'll be speaking at in September, but it should
Nice.
be good
Awesome.
information for those who are interested in learning more about keeping teens safe. And yeah, I spoke at Conifer High School at their Peace Day in February as well, and it's critical just to give that information because there is a lot of crime that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knowledge is power. Great. Well, thank you for adding that link. That's perfect. Okay. So any upcoming events that anybody would like to throw?
Stephanie, I have one more question
Yes.
for Robin.
Sorry. Yes.
No, that's okay. Robin, I mentioned at the beginning I travel internationally. Do you have volunteerism at your project sites? I know you have what you can do here in Conifer to help fundraise.
We are having a trip to Kathmandu. We don't really make it like we it's sort of sequestered if you
Okay.
can understand that. But we are taking some of some people who would like to go visit. We aren't taking them. We are organizing a visit. Let me put it that way, because we're not going to spend our money that way. But if you want to go to Kathmandu, I could give you that information so you could visit the Mukti house or Mukti home.
Well, thank you. I'd be interested in getting information. I do have a client who works in Kathmandu and
Okay.
have a Nepalese Facebook friend now.
Oh,